gonna go get my kimchi because I'm hungry and because I have it.
Damn it, I'm so
And
mad I
because I
don't
need
have
to
any.
eat it.
Thank you for waiting for me to start recording for that.
That was perfect. That's going to be a good intro. And then
Now
it'll
we
be
just
a
wait.
little tag at the front, and it'll just be silence
A
for
whole bunch of
about
silence of just
30 seconds. And then...
Let's just make we'll make some noises like he's walking to the
Well, we
kitchen.
actually are making noises right now.
He's getting his kimchi, and he's grabbing a fork because he doesn't have chopsticks. And he won't hear any of this until he listens to it later. And he's back.
And he's coming back. Oh, that sounds like chopsticks.
You're listening to the Janchi Show, hosted by 3 Korean American adoptees diving headfirst into what it means to be adopted, Korean, American, and more. And now, here's your hosts, Nathan, Patrick, and KJ.
Welcome to the Janchi Show. It is I, Patrick, the main host of this entire program.
dare you?
Whoa. That's how we're going to start it? All right.
I've been given unlimited authority to roll into this episode, so I am taking it like the dictator I am. The dictator of the Janchi Boys with my 2 co-hosts, KJ and Nathan. Thank you for joining me here on this podcast that is mine and also yours.
The honor is all yours.
That was bad. All right, let me retake that.
Nope, we're keeping that one.
Yep. Welcome to the Janchi Show. It's Patrick, one of your hosts, and he's having a really great time. I'm here with Nathan and KJ, my 2 other lovely, wonderful hosts. How are you guys doing today?
I am great, and I will talk first since KJ's got a mouthful of kimchi.
I'm also
No
good.
foreshadowing at all.
I'm getting better. I mean, they can read the title. They know what
True.
we're talking about.
That's true.
Good
But
point. I didn't
in
think
case
of
you
that.
can't read the title, today we're talking about kimchi. That is what I'm eating because I'm hungry.
But first, we're talking about Janchi, which I will clarify again is spelled Janchi. We are the Janchi Show, which comes from the word doljanchi, which means feast.
What if I told
celebrate.
you it was pronounced John Choi?
John Choi? I don't know. Jang. You
What
can
if
pronounce
what
it
if I told you it was
any way you
pronounced
want.
John Choi?
John Choi?
John Choi.
Then my entire life would be a lie.
Not only the time you've done the podcast, but your entire
his
life
yeah.
retroactively
Yeah,
has
yeah.
not been a
It's
lie.
like-
All
been a lie.
the doljanchis I've had were just completely fake.
Anyways, Janchi is to feast or to celebrate. It's kind of an old Korean term, but that's what we are here to do on the show. It is to feast and to celebrate our identities as Koreans, as adoptees, as Americans, and everything in between.
And it's going to be a really fun time. Before we talk about kimchi, though, KJ, you are feeling better? I didn't even ask you before we even got on here, but last time we did this, you were sick. And I want to know that you've gotten better from that point.
Was I feeling sick?
Yeah, you said
Yeah.
you were having a little issues. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I'm feeling better.
You must feel better if you're eating kimchi. 'Cause,
Here's the deal.
I mean,
It's kind of both and not to just dive right into the subject, but I think I messed my stomach up. I messed up the biome by eating too much food too quickly. And I'm hungry, I'm feeling better, but my stomach still feels a little weak. And so I've been doing things like taking a probiotic at night and now eating kimchi, which is like taking a probiotic.
True.
So that I can rebuild up the
Get that flora.
stomach. Yeah, get that biome strength up. So
good.
KJ's stomach, Huaiting.
Fighting!
Hey,
There's a fist punch in there, in case you couldn't see it.
just for a non sequitur about cabbage and about the digestive system, did you know that when competitive eaters try to train their stomach, they eat cabbage?
That is a
It's
fun
like
fact.
raw cabbage.
Yeah, they eat cabbage and water because it expands in their stomach and then they digest it. And so they do that and it helps stretch out their stomach so that it's bigger.
Interesting. All right, so what I'm hearing you say is don't eat too much kimchi right now because I'm really hungry and it will expand.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm assuming you will eat some large meals this week. I don't know how quickly it happens, but that is just some random fact I learned a while ago. Don't fact
Well, I
check
mean,
me.
I think we might talk about that later, too. But
Is there a kimchi
was a good-
eating contest? I don't know.
well, I think, because what we've been doing is going through the Korean Culture Dictionary. I just held it up for the podcast listeners out there. Written and compiled
For the
by
viewers at home.
Sung Kong.
Sounds great.
Edited by Edward Leary. If you've been listening to the show at all, you know that we've been working our way through this book. But today, we are talking about the history of kimchi, and I found this chapter quite engaging because this is something that we tried on our very first episode.
Yes.
If you guys remember.
Some of
You guys
us
remember that?
for the first time. So according to Patrick,
Yeah, some of us
not according to
debatably
Rebecca.
for the first time.
We'll just
Some
bring
of
that
us
up every time too.
Allegedly tried it for the
Allegedly
first
trying
time.
it for the first time.
And then about
yes.
10 episodes later was challenged on air about that assertion.
One of us, I'm not going to name any names, but you might know him as the dictator of the podcast.
They don't
one
know
of
that.
us. No, they know that. I have to keep it in. One of us started our relationship off on a foundation of lies.
Yeah,
He sitteth on
Nathan.
a throne of lies. So, anyways,
I know.
let's get into it.
Now that we
What's
got
the
that
most
out.
interesting thing about kimchi that you read?
Oh, the most
Interesting thing about kimchi.
No, about the Marvel universe. Yes, about kimchi. Come on.
The Marvel
No, okay,
universe
so-
verse has kimchi. What?
So it's funny. It's funny about what we were just talking about. The fact that Nathan brought up about eating too much kimchi is they talk about that here, and I did think that was interesting because they talk about it being something that people eat, and like when SARS happened, they talked about it being something that like a lot of people ate kimchi, and it made them feel better, and so there was something like that. But then when you're talking about expanding in the stomach. It says, don't overindulge on too much kimchi or it'll make you sick. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was, I don't even know how I was tying that in, but that was what I was trying to get to.
No, that's an interesting, but it's an interesting comment because
Professional
currently-
podcasting.
So currently, though, last year during the pandemic, of COVID, there was a kimchi shortage, but that was, I think, for different reasons. But there was also reports that said people were eating kimchi because it helped their immune system or something. There was I saw articles about it, and I didn't really fully read it, and otherwise I would quote accurately what they said. But I do know that there were a lot of people buying kimchi because they thought it was protecting them against COVID, which I don't think is correct. But
I will say that it does say in here that researchers state the results are not scientifically sound when it comes
There you
to
go.
the kimchi helping fight the SARS virus. So please do not think that when I said that earlier that I was condoning kimchi eating as will cure any type of virus. That is not scientifically proven.
Well, it may not have helped SARS-CoV-1, but it could help SARS-CoV-2. There's no reason to assume it can't. Because,
That's a good point.
I mean, I'm not saying you should listen to me. I'm just saying if that's what you want to believe, you can believe that. So live your life,
But
listener.
I mean, there's worse things you can eat, like all these other people eating Tide Pods and things like that. So
Who's eating Tide Pods?
I would say go ahead.
young
If
people.
you want to eat kimchi because you think it makes you feel better or protects you, then you go right ahead. That's my theory. And in this book, it says, which many of you might not know, or maybe you do, there are over 200 varieties of kimchi. So a little something for everybody.
It made me feel like that you can kind of make kimchi. You just have to have some core stuff in there, and then you can just kind of experiment and do your
Yeah.
own thing.
We talked about
Have you
it.
made kimchi before?
No, I guess I was saying earlier, I have that ingredient, the main ingredient, which is the gochujara chili powder. I have not yet made it because I was mid-move when I bought all of that stuff, but it is on my list and it will happen. I'll make sure to record some of it too, so we can maybe post it in the after party or something.
What did you find most fascinating about this chapter on kimchi?
So I thought it was interesting that kimchi was not always its original name. Or like that, it hasn't been the name of the food for a long time. So I remember reading this article that was reading the headline of an article that was posted either in an adoptee Facebook community or something else, but it was like Chinese people are claiming kimchi is their food, and all the Koreans were like, no. Anyways,
Yeah, it says chimche was first
yeah.
called chimche.
Yep. So, according to studies tracking down the origin of kimchi, it dates back as far as 57 BCE, Three Kingdoms period. And it used to be called ji, and then kimchi, literally meaning submerging vegetables under salt water, and then became dimche, and then became kimchi, and now kimchi. So, yeah, there's like such a wild ride. To start from G to get to kimchi. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
I found that really interesting too, because I felt like the more I learn about Korean history, there's a lot of just periods of evolution or change or growth. And I felt like that right there was really indicative of it. And it makes sense that it's like a national food of Korea, so it makes a lot of sense to me.
No, I really like kimchi. I mean, I always have from the first time I had it, but I would have to say that cabbage, the traditional cabbage one, is not my favorite. I really like the cucumber one.
Cucumber's the best.
Yeah, but that's because I think I love pickles. So when I found out, the cucumber kimchi was like kind of a spicy pickle, I was like, yes, I'm gonna. That.
I've never put those two things together until
Pickles?
literally just this moment. The fact that pickles are pickled cucumber and cucumber kimchi is also pickled cucumber. Never put those two together in my mind. I don't know. I'm not perfect. It's fine.
It's okay.
Oh, I was also going to say my second favorite fact about this was that kimchi used to be white. And when I read that, I was like, who hasn't used to be white,
Yeah, right.
I mean,
who just wasn't
get
white
in line,
before?
Kimchi, It's like, as an adoptee reading this, I was like, same.
Kimchi, you see me.
Yeah. I feel seen by Korea's food. I just thought that was interesting. And then like that the gochugaru was the thing that gives it the red color, but that it used to start as white kimchi. And then I remember somebody commenting on one of our posts and said like, oh yeah, white kimchi is what we give kids before they grow up, and then they can eat so we actually start kids on the deeply traditional kimchi, Korean kids in the deeply traditional kimchi, and then move to the more modern iteration of that. So
yeah, I mean, it's hard enough getting your kids to eat cabbage. Try a spicy cabbage. I mean, it kind of makes sense. It's like, here, try this first.
But maybe the pickling of it, I don't know. I feel like some kids that I've seen really, or they're like, a sour thing. And then they're like, oh, wait, but I want more of that because it made me do a weird thing. And this was fun. You know what I mean? So maybe the white kimchi makes sense because it's like kind of a game to them.
Yeah, well, that's what we were doing with our son when he was trying salsa for the first time. He was like
Really?
a little bit of dip, and we were like, try it, it's good, it's not too spicy, and he'd like it, and then my older son would kind of trick him and try to give him more and more of it. Like, here, try this one now.
Was it a
try
mild
this
salsa?
one now. It was it was fine. It wasn't too bad, but I mean, if you got a big pepper on one of them, then yeah, sure. It would probably
Is it bad
freak out.
parenting if you let your kids try the hottest salsa first? Is that bad, or is that?
I don't know.
I'm
Do
assuming
you
it's
like
bad.
watching your kids cry? I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't have any kids yet, so I can't say.
Spice in, spice out. So it's just whatever you want to deal with at whichever point.
I thought another interesting thing that it said, it was very, very adamant that kimchi by itself is not a meal. Going back to that point of you eating too much kimchi can make you sick. Kimchi is not a meal. It says it would be equivalent to eating dill pickles as a meal, which I laughed really hard at because dill pickle is a funny thing to say. But
I thought you were going to say because you ate it as a meal once.
well, I mean, I did. The first time I had it on the show, I was just sitting here just eating the kimchi like it was a meal. And I honestly thought I could just sit here and just eat it, but it does make sense.
Yeah,
You
after a
shouldn't
while,
only eat it.
sure. I mean, like you add it to stuff. KJ's always making his kimchi fried rice. Kimchi soups, kimchi. I like tofu soup, and there's some that have kimchi in it.
Put it on
I
some
definitely
pizza.
like it as a side for me and specifically if it's too spicy or just after a while too pungent. Eating it with white rice is best for me. But I will eat it, but I won't eat it as a meal. That seems self-explanatory, but
I mean, I'm sure there are people who eat pickles as their meal,
Yeah, you never just sat around and ate a whole jar of
they
pickles?
also have very high
Never.
sodium levels.
I mean, hey, it is what
You
it
like
is.
sodium. That's
I
canon.
do. I
You
do,
like
but
sodium.
I drank pickle juice once, so I won't lie.
Wow.
Was it a dare, or did you just drink it because you were thirsty?
I just drank it because I liked it.
Wow.
But on that note, I have seen it at bars before. Where you have like a
Pickleback.
whiskey
it's like a
shot with a
chaser?
pickleback. Yeah, so
Well, that's different. There's
yeah.
there's shooting pickle juice as a follow up to liquor, and there's drinking pickle juice as a beverage.
that's
I
the
think
same
there's two
thing.
different things.
I'm still drinking it.
we have any pickle juice?
Mom, throw
Mom,
those
I'm
pickles out, but
thirsty.
keep the juice.
I mean, who came up with that? Somebody's like,
Mom, get the chunks
I'm just drinking pickle juice. It's like, why don't you have a shot of whiskey before that? Oh, okay.
It works. I mean, it works.
It
If you
does
haven't-
work. It works. I guess somebody has also done this.
I don't do
Oh
enough
yeah,
shots.
I mean that's
to
a
know
very common thing here in the Midwest. I feel like,
this. Just
or
any
maybe it's just an
alcohol-related
Indiana
game.
thing.
Maybe it's just a Patrick Armstrong thing.
Well, I did see it in Wisconsin,
I didn't start that.
so
I didn't start that.
maybe it is a Great Lakes kind of thing. Maybe Jordan can jump in on this conversation since he lives in Michigan. I know they have that pickle factory up there. So
That's true. Jordan, if you're listening to this right now, text me immediately and say whether picklebacks are a normal
you've had a
thing in
pickleback
Holland, Michigan.
in Michigan.
And he said that they are. Good call, Nathan. Thank you.
Wow, it'll be amazing.
Immediate. The other thing that I found interesting about the article, which I had found out prior to this article, was actually that they have kimchi refrigerators. We were looking at, I don't know what, but we were on Facebook Marketplace, my wife and I, and all of a sudden we came across a thing that was talking about kimchi refrigerators. And I first thought, oh, it's just a refrigerator. But then I looked and it's a mini refrigerator, but it's specifically to just store your kimchi so that the kimchi smell does not overtake the rest of your products in your regular refrigerator. So I don't know anyone who owns one, but you know, that makes sense if you have a lot of kimchi.
That
Oh
does make
yeah,
sense.
shoot! I remember it said that on average, Koreans consume. Oh wait, an average South Korean consumes 48 pounds of kimchi a year. I was like, man, that's a lot.
That's a lot of kimchi.
Also, that number reflects a declining trend in kimchi consumption.
Wow.
Like that's going down. What?
When I was in Korea, I wouldn't say I ate it, but it was at every single meal pretty much I was at, even breakfast.
So I've been listening to Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi, which is it's a really fantastic novel. But one of the things in it's about two sisters who are estranged and then end up living life together. They reach for like ramyun black, which apparently is like the best ramyun out there, which I would agree with. I think that ramyun is my favorite, Shin ramyun, but they would add kimchi as a topper, and like we were talking about earlier, and I think the book even says like kimchi bokkeumbap or kimchi fried rice. Like Koreans sometimes will just grab kimchi to put on top of their kimchi fried rice, even though there's already kimchi in there. So it's like you're always, like kind of how there's always salt and pepper at the table. It'd be like there's always just like a bit of kimchi to add to whatever meal that you're eating. Like that's just like so important and such a staple that it's just like always needs to be around.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
It makes sense though, because I'm a big texture kind of guy when I eat. So if it's like a hot thing and then you get some cold kimchi on it, I like that contrast. Same thing as if it's something, crunchy or creamy. I always have to have some things that kind of balance it out. I don't like eating too much of one texture. So the kimchi definitely has a lot of those other things in it. And even for breakfast, like I said, at first I was thinking, why is there kimchi on the breakfast table? But then, throwing that in some eggs and stuff, I was like, oh, this is good. So
Delicious.
yeah.
Delicious.
But when you guys come out, I know you, other than Patrick and his Target brand,
One time. Actually, 2 times.
when you go
I'll
to an
say 2
H Mart,
times.
one of these days when you guys actually go to one of those H Marts, you'll see the kimchi section. It's not just, oh, here's like here's a bottle of kimchi. It's literally like, well, depending on the store, some of them are like, it's twice as big as the dairy section. So
I know. I want to go in there and get
Yeah.
some because I need variety in my kimchi, and I don't feel like there is that here. So
it's not even just
Have you
variety,
not found
it's
like a little
quantity.
market for you to find?
yeah, but
like,
not for like a varietals kimchi.
Oh, really? They just have like
Yeah, it's just
the
straight
sliced cabbage
cabbage.
one. Oh, okay.
And I yell at them in American.
Hey,
Where are the varieties of kimchi?
Hey, I'm walking here.
I'm walking over here by your kimchi and it's all cabbage. What's
Yeah.
going on?
Like, oh, that guy's clearly from Indy.
Yeah, because that's a total Indianapolis accent.
Yep.
I think if I've
That's a
ever
deep
done
cut.
an Indiana accent, it was that.
You just spit off some knowledge too. It's like, this is the kimchi. Where's the G? There used to be some
Oh,
G
yeah.
or some kimchi.
Where's the stuff from 57 BC?
That's what I want.
I know that's fermented to perfection.
Yep.
A
It
secret
ages
recipe.
well.
It's like yeast. It's been passed down from generation to generation.
Where's the mother? I don't think it has a mother.
I don't think they
so.
have moms.
I loved reading about the kimjang, which is the tradition of making and sharing large quantities of kimchi to ensure that every household has enough
Ooh.
to make it through the winter.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a beautiful tradition. I'd never heard of that before. And it happens between November and December, right?
Yeah, because it's the right temperature for
The perfect temp. I just like, I reflect on how communal Korean culture and a lot of cultures in the East are, and I just really love it. Like, we just gather together and make sure everybody has enough kimchi to get through the winter, or whatever. Like, I just think that's such a beautiful thing, and it makes sense, like, beyond just kimchi being the food that you think about with Korea, but like there is a whole social practice behind kimchi and making sure that we have enough. Like, it is a way of giving and receiving love, and caring for your community, and I think that was really cool.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's any stories back in the day in Korea that are similar to how, when we grew up, there was always that you go next door, it's like, excuse me, can I borrow a cup of sugar? Those kind of things. I wonder if they ever had that. It was like, excuse me, I ran out of kimchi. Do you have any? Can I borrow a bottle?
I bet they did.
Yeah, I'm sure that they did.
I'm sure there was like a very like this kind of a situation where they're sharing it. But
that reminds me. So one of my Korean friends who also like kind of tutored me in Korea, she was like older than me, and from Korea. She gave me a piggy bank, but it was like a little kid with a head covering and a basket. And it was like kind of a figurine or whatever. And I was like, what is this? I mean, beside it being a piggy bank, I was like, what is this character? What does it represent? And they said that back in the day, like super olden times, if a kid wet the bed, they would have to go around to their neighbors' houses and ask for salt so that they would not wet the bed again the next night. And so it was like a figurine of a little boy carrying around a basket to collect salt. And so it's like it's very funny, very cute, but also like terribly shaming. Be like, I wet the bed, so now I have to go ask for a bunch of salt. But I don't know that your thought about like, I wonder if people. I was like, oh, wait a minute, I actually know about a tradition about that. Yeah.
That is
so
very
the next time one of your children, Nathan, what's the bed?
I'm gonna make him go next door and get some salt.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of that?
I don't know. So
I think it's like the idea that salt dries you out, and so you won't be as liable to wet the bed the next night because you'll have eaten all the salt.
Interesting.
Okay. Or you just don't let them down a big glass of water before they go to bed.
Be dehydrated, and you will be fine. Children.
Sure.
Yep.
And have
I don't know. I thought that was
high blood pressure.
We should also talk about, because this, I don't think we talked about it in our last episode, but May is... Oh, we talked about it a little bit. May is our month.
Yeah, we talked about it at the beginning.
I don't know. There are like 80 million different ways, not really that many, but 80 million different ways to say Asian and Pacific Islander American Heritage Month.
I'm using Asian Pacific American Heritage Month.
APAHM.
I've also seen APIHM, like in conjunction, using both. So Pacific Islander and then just Pacific American. So I've been trying to do APA. I feel like it's a good pan-ethnic capturing of everything, but I do also think that there are probably, you could use whatever you want, and I think it's okay.
But yeah, I was curious. Patrick, I saw, not like we've been super active on socials, I saw you post at least one thing about it, but are y'all doing anything special, unique to celebrate, to learn more about your heritage besides us going through this book, which also shouts out to the listeners who have tagged us and said like, hey, we bought the book to go along with you. That's super fun. It's like having a book club. So thanks for joining us on the journey. But yeah, fellow co-hosts, are you doing anything special, unique to commemorate this month this year?
Go ahead, Nathan.
Oh, mine will be short. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't thought ahead to any additional things other than reading this book. I am still in the deep unpacking stages. So.
Oh, is that like a lot for you? Is that like a hard thing to do as a parent?
100 boxes.
Moving across the country with 3 kids.
Yeah, is that hard for you? Do you want sympathy?
My kitchen is flooded twice, so I'm still working on that one too.
So that I
Will
can
you pay for us to come out there and help you?
Yes, please. Actually, we were talking about that actually. So anyone is welcome. We have the guest room ready.
I'm busy.
You let us know.
I'm also
don't
have any days to get off work to go there.
I'm busy. And you name a day, I'm busy.
Well, you said you might come in June, so I'm still holding you to that. But
I'm busy.
If I'm not there in a week, just wait longer.
You just keep waiting. I'll get out there eventually. You just hold on a second.
Patrick, are you reading? I know you were taking a little break of social media, but
I don't know if that. I think I found a healthier balance for sure.
Cool.
But outside of reading books at the moment, and this is not necessarily connection, but Katie Gagel and I are this month highlighting Asian adoptees, throughout this month as a way to showcase us and what that means, what Asian Pacific American Heritage Month means to us as Asian adoptees. And so her and I launched that first post this past weekend, last Monday. And we've got a really great response on it. The times for recording just make me lose track of all calendars. But it's, we've got a really great response. Really excited to just share with people what it means to be an adoptee and be Asian during the month of celebration. So, really excited about that. Really excited to get more voices out there in that way. But, yes, just reading as many books as I can. My sister actually sent me a link to someone that's doing like an Asian book club for this month, but there are like thousands of books recommended on there. And it's just kind of like pick and choose and add as you go. So excited to dive into that and get what I can out of there.
I'm going to retract my statement. I actually did do one thing. I donated some money to the Colorado State University AAPI group. So
hey, there you go.
They contacted me with an email stating that that it was Asian Pacific Islander Month and things like that, and they are my alma mater. So I just decided to donate specifically to that group. So
Instead of ditching them for Greek life like you did last time.
Yeah, jeez.
Well, it's just it's the next time around. Next time around the sun, you're like, all right, here we go. Yeah,
sure, exactly.
You're gonna get another chance. So,
I mean, that's the beauty of our stories. Is each time we have the opportunity to engage or not engage with our heritage, you're just like, we all bring different baggage and things, and I think it says a lot to Nathan where you are now versus where you were like then to be like, oh yeah, I'm not ready to engage in this, or I don't know, whatever, versus now you're like, absolutely, I will go so far as to help support what you're doing, you know? So yeah, I think that's really great. I am also reading books. I am in the middle of Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi. As I said, I just bought a paperback version of Interior Chinatown, which I'm super excited to actually like read with my own eyeballs. Because it's written like a screenplay, and so listening to that makes it a little clunky, but it was really funny, and I've like forgot how funny it was. So as I was flipping through it in the bookstore, I was like, yes, I can't wait to dive back into that. Probably rewatch some Korean movies like Parasite or Minari, or Sarah and I are still watching Run on Netflix, which, let me tell you, it's like a very chill K-drama. It's not like amazing. It's not the worst. It's very chill, so it's easy for us to like pop in and out of that. But continuing on that, and I missed last month's Korean covers thing, so I would like to find a song to cover and then cover it this month, even in the midst of the busyness. I don't know. I am kind of out of ideas. I just need somebody to say, cover this song, and I'll be like, okay, cool, I'll do that. So hit me up on social media if you think there is a song that I should cover.
Does it have to be
get on that playlist because you can share
it. It needs to be in Korean.
Korean song, okay.
Yeah, because I want to continue to work on language and speaking and singing and pronouncing and all that stuff. So.
Well, that's a whole nother skill in itself, I assume, to be able to sing in it. I mean, to regurgitate something by just saying it is one thing, but to actually remember all the lyrics.
Oh no, I don't do that. I stare at the lyrics. And
you stare at them, then you cheater.
Yeah. What?
No kidding.
You cheater.
That's why there aren't any videos, because I don't have it memorized well enough to be able to do a video.
Well, I still think it's pretty good. And
actually, I could probably do a video of Blackpink's "How You Like That." I have that one. Okay. Those lyrics have really stuck in my head.
Because half of it is in English.
No. Oh. But a lot of it is in English, so that was really great. I think it's just like it's the most fun, and like because it's a proper K-pop song, so it's just like it gets stuck in my head more than the other ones.
It is pretty catchy. So, it's got some attitude.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just like KJ.
I do technically have an attitude. It is usually a positive one, but sometimes it is not a positive one.
But look out.
So, classic human being.
So sometimes, watch out. And other times, hey, how are you?
I'm KJ.
And still other times, annyeong.
안녕하세요. Oh, that was good. That sounded so natural and authentic. Thanks, listeners.
Yeah, we did get
for agreeing with me.
Oh, you were...
We did get some feedback too on this new format. Everyone was saying that they did like it. So I wouldn't say it's a new format. I'd say it's just a side format, I guess.
I think we mentioned it one time. And
Yeah. But we appreciate everyone saying that they liked it. And I appreciate any feedback you guys give us. So keep those messages, DMs, and comments coming in. We are trying to come up with good content and interviews as well as scheduling for all of us. So
where are you going with this?
I don't know. I was finding a way to end it so that we could move on to communication of more emails, and then
That's
I
cool.
lost it. So why don't you?
Perfect. All right.
I
Well, if
appreciate
you
the
want to get
sentiment.
in touch with us, please do so. You can send us an email to janchishow@justLikeMedia.com. You can follow us on social media at Janchi Show on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. There's a thing on Clubhouse that technically exists. There may or may not be a TikTok coming. You could, I don't know. Maybe we'll start a Zynga just for funsies, or like, if does it. I want to know if AIM still exists.
Find our
and I would
MySpace
love
page too. No,
I would love
actually
to have a
don't. It's
screen name that nobody uses called the Janchi Show. That's
would be
really great. What else? If you would please take a moment to leave us a rating or a review on iTunes/Apple Podcasts, that would be really fantastic. Also, I never say this, but if you're not subscribed, and you're just like listening to a one-off, consider subscribing, because it's a good time. You hear lots of great stories and you hear lots of different culture things. So subscribe, and then you'll never forget to listen to an episode.
And all it takes is clicking a button.
Yeah, absolutely. You can support the show by going to janchishow.com/support, and that helps us keep the lights on. And also put food into our bellies,
And lights just went off.
because that's an important part of the show. You can buy merch, which you can get that at the janchishow.com/store. Really, if you just go to janchishow.com, that'll get you where you need to go. And then, if you want to reach out to any of us specifically, you can find me at KJ Relke, wherever I want to be found on the internet.
You can find me at Patrick in the World on Instagram, at P. Armstrong on Clubhouse. I also just really quickly want to plug that on Wednesdays on Clubhouse, I do an adoptee feature series where I sit down with another Asian adoptee in our community for a one-on-one interview just to get to know each other a little bit better. And also for APHM, if you want to be featured, go to the link in my bio. You can find both of those forums at the top and bottom of the screen.
You can find me on Instagram at NoWalkPhoto, or my personal one, which is NNoWalk. And of course, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter, but I don't usually use it. And that's about it.
All right. Way to bring the energy down.
I know. Sorry. I lost train of thought there for a second.
Great.
The end.
I mean, this is a time. This is a time to be alive. We've done it again. We're closing in.
We've done it again.
We're closing in
Again.
We're closing in on our fourth 10 episode set. We're closing in on 40 episodes, if you can believe it. We've been doing this for...
Oh, gosh, we are.
Also, we did
been doing this for almost
surpass
a year.
5,000 downloads recently, too. So thank you to all of you who listened to it. All 5 of you who listened to it 1,000 times.
Yes. All 5 of you. Thanks to our moms and Jerry. Who have... Well, I guess, and our spouses sometimes. Let's be real. Our spouses sometimes they're not going to listen to every episode.
That's true.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for supporting the show. Be a pal. Tell your friend about us because that is the best. And we will see you next week with another wonderful interview or not.
We don't know.
I'm just kidding.
But we do know.
It will. Whatever comes out next week will be wonderful. We guarantee it. Probably.
We'll see you next week with whatever we got.
You're gonna like the way we sound. I guarantee it.
You won't believe number 11. Like you didn't list. You didn't give us a list thing. All right. Bye.
Okay. Bye.